Augustine of Hippo, saint, philosopher, sinner, a man whose life was a tapestry of contradictions. Saint Augustine, as we know him, lived a life of stark contrasts. He was a man who embodied the struggle between the sacred and the profane. He was born in Roman North Africa in 354 AD, a time of great change and turmoil. Augustine is a giant of Christian thought, a towering figure whose influence extends far beyond his own time. His writings are still studied today, offering insights that are as relevant now as they were over a millennium ago, but his early life was far from saintly. He indulged in worldly pleasures and questioned the very foundations of his beliefs. Augustine grappled with questions that still haunt us. He was a seeker, always in pursuit of deeper understanding. What is the nature of good and evil? This question tormented him and drove much of his philosophical inquiry. How do we reconcile free will with God's plan? Augustine's thoughts on this matter have sparked countless debates. His answers, shaped by his own tumultuous journey, continue to resonate through the centuries, influencing countless thinkers and theologians. Augustine's life and work offer a window into the soul of a brilliant, searching mind. His intellectual journey was as complex as it was profound. He was a man wrestling with faith, reason, and the deepest mysteries of existence. His legacy is a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to seek truth. Augustine's early life was marked by a search for pleasure and meaning. He was a bright student, but also restless and rebellious. He explored various philosophies and religions. He even joined a cult called the Manichaeans. They believed in a dualistic universe of good and evil. Augustine indulged in worldly passions, a fact he later recounted with great remorse. He had a long-term mistress and an illegitimate son. This period of his life, filled with intellectual curiosity and sensual indulgence, would later become a source of deep spiritual struggle. It would also provide the raw material for his most famous work, Confessions. Augustine's conversion to Christianity was a dramatic turning point. It didn't happen overnight. It was a gradual process marked by inner turmoil and intellectual wrestling. The turning point came in Milan, Italy. Augustine was a successful teacher of rhetoric. He encountered the eloquent Bishop Ambrose. Ambrose's sermons deeply moved him. Augustine found himself drawn to the Christian message of love, forgiveness, and redemption. One day, wrestling with his doubts in a garden, he heard a child's voice chanting, "Take up and read." He opened the Bible and read a passage from Romans that spoke directly to his soul. This experience, often referred to as Augustine's conversion in the garden, transformed him. He dedicated his life to God. Augustine's Confessions is a landmark in Western literature. It's a deeply personal account of his spiritual journey. It's considered the first true autobiography. Augustine bares his soul, recounting his youthful sins, his intellectual wanderings, and his ultimate conversion. He explores the nature of memory, time, and the human desire for God. Confessions is not just a personal story, it grapples with universal questions about faith, doubt, and the search for meaning. Augustine's honesty and vulnerability have resonated with readers for centuries. They find in his struggles a reflection of their own. Section 5. Building the City of God. The City of God is Augustine's most important theological and philosophical work, a monumental text that has influenced countless generations. It was written in a time of crisis, a period marked by uncertainty and fear. The Roman Empire, once mighty and seemingly invincible, was crumbling under the weight of internal strife and external threats. In 410 AD, Rome was sacked by the Visigoths, a devastating blow that symbolized the empire's vulnerability. This event shook the Roman world to its core, leaving its citizens in a state of shock and despair. Many people searching for a scapegoat blamed Christianity for the empire's decline, arguing that the new faith had weakened Rome's traditional values. Augustine wrote The City of God as a response to these accusations, aiming to defend Christianity and offer a new perspective on the crisis. He argued that the true city of God was eternal and spiritual, transcending the physical and temporal limitations of earthly cities. This divine city was not bound by the rise and fall of earthly empires, but existed in a realm beyond human history. Augustine contrasted this heavenly city with the earthly city, which he saw as being characterized by sin, self-interest, and moral decay. The City of God is a complex and profound work that explores themes of history, politics, and the ultimate destiny of humanity, offering deep insights into the human condition. It helped to shape Christian thought on the relationship between the church and the state, influencing theological and political discourse for centuries. This topic remains relevant to this day, as the interplay between religious and secular authorities continues to shape societies around the world. Section 6. Grace, Free Will, and Predestination. Augustine's theological views were shaped by his own experience of conversion. He emphasized the role of God's grace in salvation. He believed that humans are inherently sinful and incapable of choosing God on their own. God's grace, freely given, is what enables us to turn to Him. This emphasis on grace led Augustine to develop the doctrine of predestination. He argued that God chooses certain people for salvation. This choice is based on His own will, not on any merit of our own. This doctrine has been the subject of much debate and controversy throughout Christian history. It continues to be interpreted and debated by theologians today. Section 7. The enduring influence of Augustine's Trinity. Augustine made significant contributions to the development of the doctrine of the Trinity. This doctrine states that God is one God, but three co-equal persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Augustine's writings helped to clarify this complex doctrine. They offered a framework for understanding the relationship between the different persons of the Godhead. His work on the Trinity has had a lasting impact on Christian theology. It continues to be studied and debated by theologians today. Augustine's ability to articulate profound theological concepts in a clear and accessible way has made his writings a cornerstone of Christian thought. Section 8. The just war, a necessary evil? Augustine lived in a time of great violence and upheaval, a period marked by the fall of the Roman Empire and the rise of barbarian kingdoms. He was forced to grapple with the profound and troubling question of war and peace, seeking answers in a world torn apart by conflict. In his quest for understanding, he developed the concept of the just war, a theory that would resonate through the ages. This theory attempts to reconcile the Christian teaching of love and peace with the harsh reality of war, aiming to find a moral justification for conflict. Augustine argued that war could be justified under certain circumstances, such as defending the innocent or restoring peace. For example, if it was waged for a just cause, such as self-defense or protecting the vulnerable from aggression. Augustine's ideas on just war have had a profound impact on Western thought, influencing both religious and secular perspectives on conflict. They have been used to justify wars throughout history, from medieval crusades to modern-day conflicts. These ideas continue to be debated by ethicists and political theorists today as they wrestle with the moral complexities of war. The concept of the just war remains a complex and controversial one, raising difficult questions about the ethics of violence. It raises fundamental questions about the nature of violence, justice, and the role of the state in maintaining order and peace. Section 9. Shaping Western thought. Augustine's influence extended far beyond theology. His writings had a profound impact on philosophy, literature, and political thought. His ideas helped to shape the intellectual landscape of the Middle Ages. They continue to be studied and debated today. Augustine's emphasis on the importance of reason and faith influenced the development of scholasticism. This medieval philosophical movement sought to reconcile Christian theology with classical philosophy. His ideas about history, time, and the human condition have inspired countless writers, artists, and thinkers throughout the centuries. He's truly a towering figure in the history of Western thought. Section 10. Augustine's Legacy, a Tapestry of Ideas. Augustine's legacy is complex and multifaceted. He left behind a vast body of work. It continues to be studied and debated by theologians, philosophers, and historians. His ideas have had a profound impact on the development of Western Christianity. They have also influenced countless thinkers outside the Christian tradition. Augustine's writings are not without their critics. Some have accused him of being overly pessimistic about human nature. Others have questioned his views on predestination and free will. Despite these criticisms, Augustine remains a towering figure in the history of Western thought. His writings continue to challenge, provoke, and inspire readers centuries after they were written. Section 11. Conclusion. The Saint of Second Thoughts. Augustine of Hippo, the one-time rebellious youth, became one of the most influential figures in Christian history. His journey from sin to sainthood, from intellectual restlessness to theological certainty, continues to resonate with us today. His writings, born out of personal struggle and profound insight, offer timeless wisdom for those wrestling with life's big questions. Augustine's legacy is a testament to the power of ideas to transcend time and place. His story reminds us that faith is often found in the midst of doubt, that true conversion is a lifelong journey, and that even the greatest saints are human, flawed, and forever in need of God's grace.